Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Double File with your host, Charles Warren, and alongside my co host, Dale Davis.
With him as always is Garth. Good to be here.
um, what a weekend in New Hampshire. We had a pretty interesting weekend. Xfinity Series race got its race in on the day that it started.
The Xfinity race has a lot in common with the Cup race. We can talk about the Cup one later. But Xfinity was another one where it was a two-car race, and one of those two cars absolutely fumbled it and never recovered. And it was clear from the very beginning who was going to win because of it.
Yeah, third week in a row, 3 out of 4 for NBC that weather affected the Cup race. Um,
That's bad luck. God must be a Fox Sports fan for some reason.
um,
Although their bad coverage makes me question whether or not God ever existed to begin with.
um,
Threw you off there, didn't I?
a little bit. Yeah, 3 out of 4 weeks that rain has affected the Cup Series race. I really hope rain doesn't affect where Pocono. I think Pocono's where
When
we're
I
at.
saw Pocono was coming up, I'm like, here we go. And the Xfinity race is Saturday at 5:30, so God, the weather better be good.
Yeah, I know, right? Um,
5:30.
Speaking of the Xfinity Series, the big one on the restart, was it or was it not John Hunter Nemechek's fault?
It was absolutely his fault. He didn't intend to wreck everybody, but he definitely was playing games on the restart. And I can't believe I was the only guy outside of Ryan Sieg and a couple other people that were saying, "Oh my God, John Hunter did that. Why is he not being penalized? He brake checked the entire field and stacked them up, and they crashed." But Jeff Burton and everybody at NBC, "Hey, John Hunter didn't do nothing wrong." And I'm like, "What were you guys watching? He did everything wrong on that."
Well, I think that if NASCAR was going to penalize John Hunter, then they should have done something about Logano from California.
Yeah, what was interesting was during the race, I can't remember who it was. Might have been Chandler Smith. It was somebody who was up at the front, and they said, "Are they going to issue any warnings on these restarts?" And he was referencing John Hunter. So yeah, there was obviously
There was
it
games.
was one.
I mean, they're allowed to wait till the very end of the restart zone, but nobody does. I mean, they'll go at the start of it, try to catch
He
everybody.
didn't go till his front tires were across that second line.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not completely familiar with the rule, but if the leader doesn't go in the restart zone, doesn't everybody else just go?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fair game if that happens. And on
So
the broadcast, Jeff Burton was like, "Look, look, look! You see Chandler Smith? Chandler Smith, he was going, and then he was slowing down, and that made it look like Nemechek was going when they got to the end there." I'm like, "No, Nemechek brake checked the whole field, and Chandler Smith was trying not to beat him to the start finish line."
yeah, because I mean, it would have been a judgment call on NASCAR's part. Did Chandler Smith jump it or did John Hunter brake check?
Ryan Sieg looked at one replay, gave his interview, and said exactly what I said. I'm like, "See, all you need to do is look at that one replay and go, yep, that's what he did. He's got the fastest car, and he's up there doing that."
Yeah, I didn't like how that turned out. Um, took out I think 2 JRM cars. We talked about last week how JRM's luck has been kind of bouncing back, but now
Yeah,
get now
outside Charlotte, it's been a tough year.
yeah, it has. I mean, 2 or 3 of their cars. I think it was just two, the 7 and maybe the 9 or the 8, being taken out, be at least damaged by someone else's gains on a restart. So
I think Sam Mayer's an absolute bust, but we know Junior Motorsports has an issue because all of a sudden Josh Berry's running like Raleigh Herbst, and we know Josh Berry's good.
oh yeah, I mean,
And like, look, that's a knock at Raleigh Herbst. He's my most improved driver this year, but that's where Josh Berry's running right there with Riley. That's like a insult to Junior Motorsports. And oh my God, we're running right there with Riley, who's actually greatly improved. We should be top four easy every
um, we was talking about John Hunter playing the games on the restart. He wins. His win this week is the second in a row after his win last week in Atlanta. Um, he had he. Yeah, for sure.
Allgaier was schooling him in stage one and calling his shot on the radio while he was doing it. So that's how good Allgaier should have been.
Yeah, and then I don't remember what happened to Allgaier to put him back there to get involved in the wreck.
Slid through his pit box.
Ah, yes.
No, it was either speeding or he slid through his pit box. He did. Actually, I think he sped. I want to say he sped.
So it was a pit road penalty for sure. So, so John JHN wins for the second week in a row. Joe Gibbs Racing. Oh my gosh, try saying JHN JGR twice. Um, uh, oh my goodness. They're doing something right for that 20 car.
Atlanta was right place, right time, but his other races this year has just been, geez, they've got speed.
Yes.
John Hunter, he was playing NASCAR career mode, and he didn't like his stats in the Cup Series, so he deleted his save file, started his career over again, and here he is coming back up through the ranks. He started back in trucks, he's back in Xfinity again. I would look for him to be a Martin Truex Jr. replacement. He's got to be the lead candidate for that.
Maybe. Or maybe even a Denny Hamlin replacement. I don't know. It just.
Possibly. Denny's going to finish his career driving for his own team.
I mean, he has to, right? Well,
that's what I think.
Originally, Denny was going to want to start his career and end his career at JGR, but then things change in life. I mean, he's a team owner now, so I think for sure you would want to go out driving for your own team, driving your own car. Speaking of Denny Hamlin, moving on to the Cup Series, Ryan Preece versus Michael McDowell. Apparently, Michael McDowell was being a little bit too aggressive, and it pissed Ryan Preece off.
McDowell made a mistake.
Yeah, I can.
He was the only one late in that race. There was plenty of that going around.
And Michael McDowell even, props to him. He took the fall for it, saying he's just being way too aggressive.
Yeah, I could tell by their conversation after the race. Preece is a hothead. Like, we know that. But I could tell by McDowell's demeanor that Preece was going to calm down. Because McDowell seemed to be approaching him like, hey, man, we're friends. Like, obviously, I think they know each other well and are friends. Just based on the way McDowell was talking to him.
Oh, yeah.
Star for drama in that race. That's all we had to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Christopher Bell and Brian Blaney both, I hate to say the word choke, but, what other word is there?
I would say Bell, it was entirely his team.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wrecked it late, and Truex went off on the radio about it. He made a snarky remark, which I thought was funny, and it was true. He's like, hey, when your teammate's leading, don't wreck by yourself late in the race, please. He said that should be the JGR company policy. But other than that, so the first pit stop, they come in, horrible pit stop, lose a bunch of spots. And then a couple of times they got caught in traffic because of more slow pit stops. And then late in the race, they took 4 tires. Truex and 9 other cars took 2 tires. I thought if Bell took 2 tires, he could have stayed right there. Because Truex's car didn't like 2 tires, especially early in a run.
No, I saw that.
Balance his car off just enough. You saw Logano almost got him. If those late cautions didn't come out and put cycles on the tires, Logano was going to get him. He absolutely was going to get him.
Yeah, Logano was coming for sure. I don't know. We hear it every week. Catching him and passing him is 2 different things, but
would run through you. I was sitting there thinking Joey's going to run through him. Catching somebody and passing is a different thing. Not for Joey Logano. He sniffs you at the end of the race, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit. You're going to get hit. And he's done it to Truex before, so he doesn't really care. A lot of guys race you how you race them. Joey doesn't care. Nobody else would do that to Truex but him. and we've seen it before.
Yeah, Martin.
I was sitting there on the edge of my seat, and the devil on my shoulder was saying, "I hope he gets there."
Yeah, we remember. Everybody remembers Martinsville 2018. Um,
One of the most intense 50 lap runs to a finish I've ever seen.
yes, that was exciting to watch. I hate how it ended, but that was exciting to watch. Absolutely. Um, Truex. We were talking. Speaking of Truex, he wins in dominant fashion. He swept both stages and won the race. He led all but uh
47 laps.
47 laps.
And that was only because every caution that came out should have screwed them up. But it really didn't. It put them like 5, maybe 6 cars at most back, and then he quickly, like a couple times on a restart, he was on that outside line, the bottom line didn't go, and boom, he's already back in third by the time they get to turn 1. So it was just every caution put him back behind a few cars, but it never hurt him like it did everybody else.
Oh yeah. I mean, the dominant car of the dominant car of the day won this race. No doubt about it. Um,
Eric Almirola, that was a
that was heartbreaking.
situation.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
You can hear me on my live stream. I was like, oh, slow stop for Almirola. Oh, never mind, they did 2 tires. Oh, the right rear tire guy, you're slow there. Then he goes off into turn 1 and it falls off.
it was the right rear that fell off.
Yeah, the right rear completely came
Dang.
off. It didn't roll off the car, but it came loose, wedged under the car, and he spun. It stayed up under the fender. It was off.
Wow.
Kevin Harvick had a really enthused response after the race. I think Danny B was talking to him, and he told Harvick about what happened, and Harvick just went perfect and walked away.
Huh. I was thinking about that. What that means earlier.
Yeah, I think Harvick's like frustrated at Stewart Haas shooting themselves. They should have had 3 cars in the top 10, 2 in the top 5, because it should have been Almirola, Harvick, 4th and 5th. Briscoe got a top 10. Priest was in position to finish at least 12th or so before McDowell got a hold of him. So Stewart Haas had a much better day than we've been used to seeing lately.
I completely forgot that Cole Custer was going to be in this race, and
He did a great job until he busted his ass.
yeah, every time the NBC guys was saying Cole Custer, I'm thinking that's not Cole Custer, that's Ryan Priest. Don't get it wrong.
Always make note of who guys are running with, and Cole Custer was 19th in the 51, ahead of 2 Stewart Haas cars, a Penske Satellite car, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, and Alex Bowman. Cole Custer was ahead of them in a Rick Ware car.
I mean, could Rick Ware be coming up? I don't know.
I think they are improving. If you look at Yaley's performance, like they're still Rick Ware racing, but on the right day, they're going to hang around, and they seem to be able to take advantage and get all they can now. Like I don't ever expect them to even be as good as like say a front row, but yeah, they've shown improvement. I think them and Spire have the 7 car anyway.
Isn't Rick Ware the ones that have that alliance with Stewart Haas?
For some races they do. When Jenson Button drives the 15, that's one. I'm pretty sure that's all the races they have aligned. They have a bit of an alliance, but when Jenson Button drives the 15, that's a straight up Stewart Haas car.
Okay. So moving on to, is New Hampshire a step in the right direction for the short track package? Yes.
I think it's baby steps.
Yes, it
Baby
is.
steps. I'm not going to crown them. Because Denny Hamlin said on his podcast today that the tire felt different, but ultimately the fall off was the same. But that combined with the lower downforce package that they ran this year compared to last, and the fact that it was like 90 degrees and sunny outside, I think it was just a perfect storm to get a very good race. There was no resin on the track. No resin this week.
That's good.
And I'm surprised because the resin's good, and they usually spray it all over New Hampshire, but they didn't this time because of the weather, and the race was still good. Like I know Truex dominated, but there was like 4 or 5 lanes you could run in there. I haven't seen that much passing at Loudon. I don't know what the exact stats or numbers are, but I feel like Loudon's not been that racy in a while.
Yeah. The last time I remember Loudon being racy or even any excitement was, I want to say, 2019 when it was Denny versus Kevin.
18 and 19, Harvick and Kyle Busch, that bump and run. And then, 19, Denny and Harvick. What a great race that was.
Yeah.
So it's had its moments.
It has had its moments.
How could it not? I mean, Loudon gets a bad rap, but two of my favorite Cup races I've ever been to were New Hampshire. 2010, 2011, they were both awesome races. 2011 was one of the most wide open competitive Cup races I've ever seen on a track like that. It's flat. I know it's not a short track, but it's not a short track, but it has races like one.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
Probably just because of how flat it is.
Yeah, they get these cars right. People will love New Hampshire.
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw it this weekend. I mean, if NASCAR can keep progressing this direction, Loudon will be one of the most look forward to races in the off season.
It's a team effort with Goodyear and NASCAR. Goodyear can only do so much because they have to err on the side of safety.
Yes.
NASCAR, it's time to nut up and just admit what you have to do. I don't care what it costs.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried about that. I'm not a team owner. I'm not an engineer. And from what I understand, the engineers are like, look, it's going to cost a little more, but hell, we'll do it. It's not that much more to do what needs to be done to these cars. So can we just do it? We're one bad Phoenix race away from NASCAR being like, all right, we'll do it. It's either trying everything this year to prepare for Phoenix.
Well, let's just hope that this Phoenix race in November isn't that bad race.
Put the resin on the bottom groove because the top groove at Phoenix has become too dominant. Put the resin on the bottom groove only. That would help.
Let's see, where is it that they put the resin? I want to say it was on the top side to try to bring it back. Was it Bristol?
Actually, no, Bristol's bottom groove. They put it on the bottom, and it's great. It really helps.
Okay. I don't know.
The top groove doesn't need it because everybody's going to migrate up there anyway. But the resin on the bottom, though, it makes it more viable for much, much longer into the race.
Yeah, Bristol on the pavement anyway. I mean, I don't.
And Denny Hamlin mentioned today that he got some encouraging news from Goodyear about a Bristol tire that they're working on. Because last year the tire was just obviously too hard. I don't know if they're going to run a new tire this year, but he said they're working on Bristol stuff.
Well, today, I'm assuming today they did that tire test at New Hampshire. So, and
That's gotta be they'll probably use that at Phoenix if it's a good tire.
I hope it is too, because I was like you just said, and I was about to say, because they use the same tire for Loudon as they do Phoenix. So if it's a good tire, good. If it's not a good tire, go back to the drawing board. Bring something else.
Yeah, it's tough because they want to be more aggressive, but they don't want to be the reason somebody gets hurt or there's a lot of tire. The 2008 Brickyard 400 scarred these people for life. And they're not going to take chances.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was just an absolute disaster of a race.
I will say, look at Richmond. Richmond this year was an awesome race, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually excited to get Richmond again here in a couple weeks. I'm like, I was very encouraged by what we saw. The combination of the new package and a different tire. And Richmond's just getting old, which is good.
It is getting old.
People hate on Richmond. I've been guilty of that because I'm like, we don't need to be there twice a year. But, I mean, we go there twice a year. I want it to be good.
So put resin on the bottom at Phoenix. Bring a new tire. I just don't want this championship race to be bad. I don't want this I don't want any race to be a snooze fest, but especially not one for the championship.
I've never been more disengaged with a race like I was Phoenix last year because I hated every second of it.
I mean, it was just so boring. I mean, it was just a freight train all around the outside.
Every year championship four where they're all four at least competitive enough. But Phoenix was like on Friday, it's like, well, Joe Logano's got this one. Like it was just obvious from the moment they unloaded. It was like, oh, this is done.
Exactly.
They're coming.
And I mean, for that first year, I mean, it's like no matter what short track we went to, it was just a snooze fest. It was a boring race. It wasn't exciting. Um, but now this year, NASCAR has really done their homework. Martinsville was entertaining. Richmond was
Yep.
entertaining.
Better.
Phoenix was an improvement.
Yeah, Phoenix was another one this year where I'm like, that's better, but still not great.
Yeah, exactly. Better, but not great. Um, yeah, that's really what we want is just an entertaining 3 hour battle for the champion. Well, I mean, we don't want a 3 hour battle for the championship. We want a 10 race battle for the championship. But
I don't want pit road to determine the championship. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's going to play a factor, and it should every race. But it's like, hey, whatever order they come off pit road, that's it.
yeah, I
Like, okay, he's right there with him. He can make a run at this.
exactly. I mean, I completely agree with that. Um,
Oh, Denny Hamlin shared something else. See, I'm just pulling from Denny's show because you get a lot of good tidbits out of that. Last week, he mentioned, I think it was last week, they're testing a new front splitter, and they said this splitter is designed to disturb the air of the car in front of you.
huh?
And I was like,
Disturb the
that's
air
interesting.
of the car in front of you. What tracks? Short
Instead
tracks?
of their air screwing with you, which is what happens now, this one is supposed to be like, oh, you get close to somebody, it completely throws their rear end off, and they start getting free, and you can kind of maybe get under and make a pass.
Okay, so the intimidate button from the EA games.
Or on the Dale Jr. download, Matt Kenseth talked about in the year 2000. He said there's early 2000s Cup cars. He said if you led, your car handled terribly. He said, because you know the guy behind you could just change your handling completely and not even really be near you. He said it was almost like early. He said the reason there was so much give and take back then is because you didn't want to be the leader because your car was going to handle the worst. So like you'd be like, oh, you lead for a little while. No, no, no. He said we'd all be like slowing down, trying not to lead in the year 2000.
Oh yeah.
And he said a lot of it had to do back then. He said Goodyear tires back then were really inconsistent because he said like sure everybody would have the same tire compound, but some of them weren't as perfect as the others. And he said depending on what kind of set of tires you put on, that could ruin your whole race. I guess it'd be kind of a throwback to that era where it's like, hey man, you might not want to be the one leading right now because this guy's going to get up on you and just mess your whole day up.
Well, even with the COTs, we saw in 2010 at Daytona, Kyle Busch got wrecked because of the air that Juan Pablo Montoya manipulated.
Yeah.
Um,
I miss the lead car shouldn't it shouldn't have that big of an advantage. Like yeah, you want to lead, you want to win the race, but damn, some of these places it's just like whoever gets out front, it's done. Phoenix, Texas.
yeah, because they take the line away, they make the car behind them tight, and they pull away even further.
Kansas was it 2019? Or was it? It was 2020 when Joe Logano just mirror drive Kevin Harvick for 20 laps straight.
Oh yeah.
And they spent most of that on Harvick's onboard, and you can just see what's happening. And you're like, oh, like everybody. I think that was the breaking point for everyone.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that was 2020. I remember because that's the race that put Logano. Something about Joey Logano and winning the first race of the round of 8.
Oh yeah,
He did
he's
it
good
in
at that.
he did it in 2020. He did it last year. Um, we we here at Double File missed a huge announcement last week. It kind of came last minute while we was recording. Ross Chastain has landed Bush Beer as a sponsor starting in 2024.
It's huge.
Huge.
That's big branding, and it's as great of a story as it is for oh my god, look at Trackhouse growing. And Ross is a superstar. Like he's the A guy at that team. They've got their man. They've got their sponsor. They're all set. And until we know what kind of sponsorships to us can get to even try to replace that, I'm kind of bummed for Josh Berry because they really could have used that
I
over there.
I think the next biggest sponsor that Stewart has is Subway.
Smithfield, as long as they want to keep paying Eric Almirola.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
who's to say that they don't walk out when he does?
yeah, I mean, I hope
I hope it
Tony
does.
Stewart took a chance on Josh Berry. I hope it's rewarded for
E-
everybody.
exactly. Um, but yeah, Ross Chastain landing Bush beer. The only thing that I don't like about it is I wish Kyle Busch could have landed that sponsor. Imagine the PR publicity.
He lobbied for
I
it.
mean, there are so many promotion opportunities, but that not to take away from Ross Chastain, huge for that guy, huge for him, huge for that team. Justin Marks,
Growing dream in NASCAR.
Justin Marks has taken the stepchild of Chip Ganassi Racing and turned it into a key partner with Chevrolet.
Now, lately they've been running like Chip Ganassi Racing, but I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah, Ross.
Hopefully, Nashville wasn't an outlier.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Ross is getting back into his comfort zone, um, kind of like he was in 2021 before he started wrecking
Yeah.
everybody. Um,
Give it time. He's hibernating right now, but I think around playoff time we're going to see Ross come out and play.
well, come playoff time, it's gonna be chaos. Um, what is it? 6 races left.
Yes, 6 races left.
6 races. Pocono, Michigan, Bristol. No, Bristol's in the playoffs.
Yep.
Oh,
Watkins Glen, Indy, and Daytona.
well, that's 5.
What one are we missing?
I'm about to look. Pocono, Richmond, Michigan, Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, and Daytona.
Daytona. Yeah. But we had it.
Well, we was forgetting Richmond.
And if you're on Chase Elliott watch, he had a horrible points day. Decent finish, but horrible points day. He lost ground. It's getting to the point where he's probably going to have to win.
They
If he'd have gotten some stage points and finished 10th or better, you can say,
he
all right, he's still in the hunt to make it on points. We had another repeat winner, but now he
that
lost points.
they brought that up in the broadcast. I don't know if you caught that, but they brought that up in the
Yeah.
podcast and the broadcast. He cannot keep finishing outside the top 10, or he's not going to be in.
I'm looking at the cut line right now, and Bubba Wallace had a great day, but they fumbled some stage points. They fumbled a lot of stage points, so he's only 2 above the gap now. So even though he had a top 10 and a good run, they're only 2 ahead.
Ooh, man, it's tight. Um, do we have? We don't have 14 winners.
We have 11 right now, so there's 5 open spots, and there's a handful of guys just outside 16th that I think can win. I'm looking
Oh,
at
okay.
Suarez, I'm looking at Allmendinger, I'm looking at Gibbs, I'm looking at Bowman,
Okay.
Chase.
Yeah, I didn't have it on the
So
rock.
to me, McDowell and Bubba Wallace are not safe, but I'm feeling really good about Busher plus 97, Keselowski plus 108, Harvick plus 137. Harvick and Brad finished 4th and 5th. I can't believe the year Brad's having.
Brad, I want that team to be in victory lane by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Specifically,
I
Brad.
was there when Busher won last year, and Brad should have won that race.
He should have, but I mean, Brad is a guy that can make the right changes to their team.
Yeah.
Um,
You can already see it.
oh, absolutely. I mean, Chris Buescher being ending a streak of 6 years at the time.
Yeah.
So, and they're right there next to each other in the playoff points. That was my mistake. I was looking at the driver points when I said we only have 14 winners. Um, but now I do have it on the right page.
Yeah, I've got the playoff grid I got a screenshot from NBC I'm looking at right now.
Well, I'm looking on the NASCAR app myself. Yeah, 5 spots. Just 5 spots. Could we potentially come down to another situation like we had last year? Does
Absolutely.
do we have 16 drivers win into the playoffs?
Well, put it to you like this: Daytona's coming up. Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, anybody.
Brad.
We got two road, yeah, Brad or Austin Cindric. We have road courses: A.J. Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, Ty Gibbs. Suarez is another guy who could pop up and win anytime now. Chase could win anytime. So, yeah, there's still, with 6 to go, there's still plenty of chances. We'll have a clear picture when we get out of. We're going into Daytona, we'll know. Till then, it's kind of up in there. There's road courses there, and Michael McDowell, A.J. Allmendinger,
I mean,
Cindric.
I I'm looking down below the cut line and the tracks that we have coming up. Austin Dillon can win Daytona again.
Yeah.
Chase Briscoe could potentially win Richmond.
I'm out on that. I don't think Briscoe has a prayer.
I mean, I don't think I expected him to win Phoenix last year either.
I don't know. He was good early last year. They were strong at the end of 21 and carried over, and then ever since the middle of this Bristol dirt race last year, he's just been gone.
Yeah. Justin Haley could win. Alex Bowman could win for Richmond.
Yeah, Bowman could pop up. Hendrick Carr can win anywhere, and we've seen Bowman do it before when you don't expect it.
Corey LaJoy could win Daytona. I mean,
Yeah.
all these guys that are down here could knock out Bubba, McDowell, Suarez, Busher, Keselowski.
See, the quality of racing, has we've got to be real. It's been hurt at New Hampshire, Phoenix, Bristol, Martinsville, short tracks. It's been hurt.
Oh yeah.
But the overall parity in the series, to me, the next gen car is a win for that.
Oh yeah.
Look at what that's created. It's created more parity than ever. Look at all the winners we had last year, and we have just as many capable this year. Like we wouldn't even flinch if any of these guys won. So overall parity, success, safety, and quality of racing on short tracks. But at least the Coca-Cola 600 is the best race in NASCAR again.
Just imagine. I mean, rabbit out of the hat. Imagine if B.J. McLeod wins at Daytona, or Noah Gragson.
Well, with the circumstances Justin Haley won under, anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean anything is possible. Ty Dillon's back there. Harrison Burton is back there.
Dillon always shows up to the summer Daytona race. I don't know what it is. He's always a factor.
He is for sure.
That's just one race every year. Never any other. It's just the summer Daytona race.
So it's not over by any stretch of the imagination.
There's a lot that's going to happen here. A lot of stage points and everything else.
So we're going to start doing something new on Double File. We're going to start picking.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start picking. And coming to Pocono, Dale, who is your pick?
Who is my pick for Pocono? I got to think about this because it's a very streaky racetrack for different race teams. Like, remember, Hendrick's been on a hot streak there, then Gibbs was on a hot streak there, then Penske was on a hot streak there, so it's very streaky. But I think for Pocono going into this, I've got 2 guys I'm thinking of, but I don't know which one to go with. Come on, Dale, commit, make a pick. Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
Okay. My pick for Pocono is going to be a long shot, but I'm going Ty Gibbs.
That is a long shot, but hey, the Toyotas have picked it up, all of them.
Exactly. As long as he don't put a piece of clear tape on the grill.
I'm looking forward, and I hate to say this because I don't like Ty Gibbs as a person. I'm not knocking his talent, but I'm I'm looking forward to, as we go back to some of these racetracks for the second time, you'll get a better idea how good this guy actually is.
Oh yeah. I
And
mean,
with the speed and consistency that the Toyotas have found, look out.
oh yeah, for sure. I think he's just waiting to catch lightning in a bottle. Because I mean, it's always said that the first win is the hardest to get.
Yeah, and he's a road course. He's a brilliant road course driver. But have you've seen how Cindric's a brilliant road course driver, and he hasn't found his footing in Cup either, just because these cars are completely different.
Exactly.
Neither of them's ever driven. So if Ty Gibbs is going to win this first race, I don't think it's going to be on a road course until he goes back to one for a second time next year.
I think. I mean, it could. It's a long shot. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I think that if he can get himself comfortable, because he substituted for Kurt last year,
Right.
so he has raced Pocono before in these cars.
Yes. Yes, he has.
So I mean,
First start.
that was. Yes, it was. Man, it's already been a year since Kurt's concussion. Man,
I hope he comes back. I hope he gets a ride.
I hope so too. I'm sure Denny would love to at least give him another ride.
Yeah.
But
They want to be a three-car team.
I want him to be a 3 car team and probably start a fourth part-time car for maybe even Denny or Kurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have Christopher Bell winning Pocono. I have Gibbs. So, um, but we might have a wild card. Chase might win this year and actually be the first one to the checkered flag.
Yeah, Hendrick's good at Pocono. It's Gibbs and Hendrick all the way for Pocono. Like that at a lot of tracks. Feels redundant to say that, but that's one in particular. Long straightaways, whoever's got the best motor, and those two teams have the best stuff.
I don't remember who won there in 2021.
It was Alex. There were two races. Kyle Busch won one on fuel mileage, and then Bowman won the second one. Or maybe that was the first one he won because Kyle Larson's right front went down going into turn 3.
I think
Final lap.
I thought it was Kyle Larson won the first one and it was going to go back to back until the tire blew.
Hold on. Maybe I'm misremembering. I could swear it was like Kyle Busch won one and then.
So the last time that Gibbs or Hendrick hasn't won at Pocono was 2020 with Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
Ever since then, it's been Gibbs and Hendrick.
Yeah, I was right. Bowman won because Larson blew a tire, then Kyle Busch won the other on fuel mileage. If you remember, Kyle Busch didn't have third gear. So if he had to come down pit road, he was going to lose crazy time. Well, he didn't come down pit road. They stayed out. They stretched the fuel. They won.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I don't know why I thought Kyle won Pocono. Kyle Larson.
Because Larson won the 3 races in a row before that.
Yeah.
Charlotte, Sonoma, and Nashville.
You're right.
Yeah. Great year that was.
What a year. I know. So with that being said, I think it's time to go ahead and wrap up this week's episode. Anything you want to add?
Looking forward to Pocono. I think it's an underrated track. I know cars get spread out, but I love the strategy possibilities of Pocono. So I always look forward to Pocono. Plus, it means it's summer, and we're always in right dead middle of the racing season. So this is like prime NASCAR for me when we get to Pocono.
Oh, yeah. The only comment I'm going to say is rain, rain, stay away. Come again another day.
Let me take a quick look at the weather. I know it's kind of early in the week, but I'll go ahead and check it.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily early in the week. I mean, I think they get on track in 3 days. So.
Long Pond, Pennsylvania. It looks like we're going to have mid-70s and sunny for this weekend. Yay.
They better stay like that.
Rain on Friday, sunny on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Well, alright then. As long as it stays like that. And with that, Dale, thank you once again for coming on. This has been the 3rd episode of Double File. come back next week and we will recap Pocono and look forward to. I think I said Richmond is after Pocono.
Yeah, I think it's Richmond.
Yep, Richmond. Michigan is what I'm waiting on. I love me some Michigan.
An Indy road course, let's be honest.
Well, Indy Road Course is its own little animal.
Yeah.
In real life and on NASCAR Heat 5. But thank you guys so much for thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. This has once again been Dale Davis. This has been Double File along with host Charles Warren and co-host Dale Davis. And we will see you in the next one.